Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to yet another video, folks. Today we are predicting the 2025 Premier League Night 7 in Cardiff. So let's rewind to you from what's going on last week in Nottingham, where Gerwyn Price defeated Luke Littler 6-3 in the final. He was exceptional. He beated Stephen Bunting and Michael Van Gerwen. But now, let's just kick off the first game. It's Chris Dobie versus Stephen Bunting. It's fair to say that the 2025 Premier League, it's not going to plan for Chris Dobie and Stephen Bunting, who will view this match as an absolute must-win game if they are going to have any hope of threatening a playoff place. The 2025 Premier League began in fine fashion for Chris Dobie, who reached the final in Belfast, but the world number 8 has failed to win a single game in 5 nights since, but despite averaging just shy of 99. Dobie lost to Rob Cross in last week's quarter-final, was missed doubles once again, costing him. The former Masters champion currently has the lowest checkout percentage of all 8 competitors. If it's gone badly for Dobie, though, but it's been a disaster for Stephen Bunting, who is yet to put a point on the board in his second participation in the Premier League. But the Bullet once again produced some good numbers in Nottingham last week, averaging over 100 for the third time in the last 4 Premier League nights. But there was no change in the outcome, as he lost 6-4 to the eventual champion of the night, Gerwyn Price. But this is a fascinating battle between 2 Premier League strugglers who will be desperate to get a win on the board, but it's bound to be nervy affair. But with Bunting boasting a superior tournament statistics to Dobie, but we are backing him to progress to the last 4 in Cardiff. Before you go to YouTube, hit the subscribe button and leave your comments below. It's free to do anyway, and let's just smash 5,000 likes. Second match up, Luke Humphries versus Michael Van Gerwen, still second in the table despite a 3-game losing streak in the tournament. The world number 1, Luke Humphries, takes on 7-time Premier League champion Michael Van Gerwen in one of the Cardiff quarter-finals. Luke Humphries will be eager to get back to winning ways after losing at the first hurdle in the previous 2 Premier League nights. 6-4 defeats to the tabletop of Luke Littler last week and Rob Cross the week before. The world number 1 is still in second in the table, but though have won 2 nights so far and triumphed in the only previous meeting with Van Gerwen in this year's competition on night 1 in Belfast. Van Gerwen, despite not reaching any finals, sits in the top 4 on the account of his consistency and reaching semi-finals. But the Dutchman has done in 5 of the 6 weeks so far, but his wayward doubling has converted just 34.5% on his doubles in the Premier League, has cost him even more points. Of the 8 competitors, Van Gerwen was only the one who competed in the Players' Championship events this week, but choosing to enter on Monday, where he lost in the first round to Nico Sprinter in Germany, but hardly ideal preparation to face Humphries, who's fancied to progress. And week 7, Luke Littler versus Nathan, and then third up, Luke Littler versus Nathan Aspinall, and then Gerwyn Price will face Rob Cross. I'm going for Bunting to win 6-5 and Luke Humphries to beat Van Gerwen 6-4 in a close game. The Nuke went to top of the table with runs to the final in Nottingham last week, while Nathan Aspinall was a quarter-final loser to Michael Van Gerwen. Luke Littler has now reached the final in the last 3 Premier League nights, winning of one of those, but losing most recently to a clinical Gerwyn Price in Nottingham. The world champion's performance last week prevailed him to the top of the table, though, but it is difficult to see him relinquishing that spot. But given the incredible form that he has already displayed in 2025, despite losing his opener to Michael Van Gerwen last week, Nathan Aspinall has made some decent strides in the Premier League of late, but sits just outside the top 4 heading into night 7 in Cardiff. The pair are good friends off the hockey, but But Littler tends to dominate in these meetings, but having won 10 of their 11 matches, including twice in the Premier League already this year. But there is a little suggest that turning of his tide here, so considered back-to-back the youngest overall at the handicap. And then finally, Gerwin Price versus Rob Cross. Last week's winners, Gerwin Price, has the home advantage on Thursday, but he has to take on Rob Cross in the last of the evening's quarterfinals in Cardiff. I'm going for Gerwin Price to beat Rob Cross 6-4. Gerwin Price claimed his second nightly win of this year's Premier League in Nottingham last week, converting over 50% of his checkouts throughout the evening, but defeating world champion Luke Littler in the final. But the Iceman moved back into the top four as a result, but he now faces Rob Cross for the second year in a row in Cardiff, having defeated Voltage at the semi-final in front of his home crowd last year. But Rob Cross is just about doing enough to stay in contention for the playoff places, but he really needs to reach a final for the first time to make some ground on those above them. The former world champion, he did reach the final four last week, but he fell to an inspired Luke Littler. This is the first meeting between the pair of the Premier League this year, while there is a little to split them when it comes to career meetings. We are back in Price and roared on by a passionate Cardiff crowd to produce the goods in this quarter-final. And that's my predictions for Week 7 of the Premier League in Cardiff. Leave on your comments below and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!